Hi, is that Chris?
Yeah.
Hello, it's Howard J. Foster here. Welcome to Camden Town Radio.
Yeah, thank you. I used to live in Camden.
Oh, right. Oh, that's great. That'll be very interesting for our listeners. Certainly. Whereabouts did you used to live?
It was right across from the Roundhouse, actually.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
There's a supermarket there now, but it used to be a pub called the Belmont.
Ah, right. Oh, is it where the Morrisons is now?
Yeah, I know it's a supermarket. I didn't know which one.
All right, nice. That's very interesting. And you're going to be playing a show at Underworld on Friday.
Yeah, this Friday. Yeah, 20th. Yeah, it's really nice to. I did it many years back.
All right.
With just with some friends, you know.
Yes.
But I'm really looking forward to this with Timeline.
Yeah, it should be great. And Timeline is the name of your band? Or Chris Slade? Yes, Chris Slade Timeline.
The Chris Slade Timeline,
yes.
That's right.
Yes. Is that sort of a nod to your years in the industry?
Yes, that's where it came from. I thought, I've been doing this now for, well, it's over 50 years. And I figured what we do is play the music I've played over the past 50, 60 years.
Ah,
you know?
Right.
Yeah, there's it's about 50-50 with AC/DC.
Yes.
And then the rest is like Uriah Heep, which I recorded at the Roundhouse Studios, actually.
Oh, right. Oh, it's
which is right underneath the Roundhouse. I don't know if they're still there.
I think they might be, yes. Yes.
Ah, right. So it was called then the Roundhouse Studios.
Yes. Yes.
And it was Bronze Records.
Ah, yes.
That's who owned it.
Yes.
And it was very interesting. I lived there for maybe 2 or 3 years, I think.
Ah, right. You were saying it was opposite near where the Belmont pub used to be.
Yeah, it was opposite the Belmont and also opposite Bronze Records.
Ah, okay, right.
Like the Roundhouse itself.
Yes, was the...
Which I played many times with Earth Band, Man's Earth Band.
Ah, right, yes, because I explained to the listeners that you were a founding member of the band, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I was there for 7 years. Started in 71.
Yes.
About the same time as my first son was born, actually. It was almost like identical time in January 71.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I remember it. I don't remember any other major details like that.
Oh, right. Actually, but yeah, before we sort of carry on from that time, do you want to just take us back to the beginning of your career and sort of how you got into the drums? Because I believe you were born in Wales, is that right?
That's right, Pontypridd.
Yeah.
Same place as Tom Jones.
Ah, right, okay.
We were actually born, as the crow flies, like 50 yards apart.
Really?
But of course, he's 8 years older than me.
Yes.
And he was in school with my brother. Not that I knew him then.
Oh, right, yes.
And yeah, I'm trying to think. I turned professional, in other words, making money in 1963 with Tom. We were Tom Jones and the Squires then. Actually, we weren't. We were Tommy Scott and the Senators.
Oh, right.
and Tommy Scott became Tom Jones.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. When we went to London, actually.
Yeah.
In around that time.
So Tom was one of your first big projects, really, or first band that when you started.
That was the first. Yes, absolutely, it was. You know, youth club type things. You know, obviously, like everybody else.
Yes.
You know, when I was because I was 63, I think I was like 16, 17.
Ah, right. So you started quite early.
Yeah. Yeah, very young. My brother started me playing, actually.
Oh, right.
He was in a marching band, the Air Training Corps.
Right.
And he used to bring his drum home to clean. But of course, little brother did the cleaning on the brass and everything. And for doing that, he taught me a few licks.
Ah, right. So that was your early introduction.
Yeah, it was. It was. And I was in a marching band myself, the Boys Brigade, actually, like a bugle band, you know?
Yes, I know, yes. Ah, right.
And, so that's how I started. And then my father was a tap dancer and singer.
Oh, right. So entertainment runs in the family.
Yeah, semi-pro, you know. So, you know, there was a lot of encouragement from him and my mother.
Yes, to get into.
And I always say what an aspiring drummer needs is good neighbours.
Well, absolutely. Especially in those days when you didn't have electronics or anything, you couldn't put headphones in, or it was just you had to play them acoustically.
We were in. I was brought up in a semi-detached house.
Okay.
And the neighbour, I used to practice every day for at least an hour.
Yeah.
Coming from school, you know, and the neighbours never complained once.
Right. Oh, that's
not once.
Nice to have good neighbours then.
That's what I mean. That's what every aspiring drummer needs. Just as an aside, Phil Campbell from Motorhead.
Oh yes.
Was born 2 streets away.
Oh right, gosh.
And I'm trying to remember, but I think it might be in the same street that Tom Jones was born in.
Oh, right, gosh. It's quite a rich theme then.
Which I think is Kingsland. I think it's Kingsland Terrace. I'm not absolutely certain because it's a longish road.
Yes.
So I don't know where one starts and the other one finishes.
Yes, this is in Pontypridd.
Well, it's Treforest, actually, which is a mile outside. So you might as well say Pontypridd.
Yes. It's well, there's always been a strong, musical history from Wales, hasn't it? I know on our show we've often interviewed artists who are either from there or have links to there or, play gigs there. So there's always been a strong music scene, hasn't there, in Wales?
Yeah, it's in the tradition, you know, in the working men's clubs and things.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, that's where my father worked, actually, as a tap dancer, was those working men clubs. I eventually started doing with Tom.
Ah, yes, that was his early career as well as yours.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I saw him just a few years back in Los Angeles when I was there with AC/DC.
Ah, right, yes.
And, we have met up over the years, over the decades.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's great. It's great that you're both still at your top of your game. I mean, you're both, both still.
Yeah, it was very nice. It's a shame he wasn't drinking at the time. He had Otherwise, we would have had a few pints.
Yeah, you might be able to get some stories out of him.
Yeah. I remember I met him a few years. And you think when it was? Probably the end of last century.
Oh, right.
In Los Angeles again, and we went to a famous bar called Barney's Beanery.
Oh, right, yes.
And we met there and had a few pints. He was drinking then.
Oh, right. Yes.
So that was nice as well. I remember that very well.
Yes. All right.
And we watched the boxing match on TV. So
right.
that was good.
Yes, I know musicians who come on the show often say they meet up with friends whilst they're on the road. That seems to be a good chance to catch up with people.
Yeah. And it's funny, you don't get a lot of chance to meet up. Like very occasionally, I'll get in touch with Dave Gilmour, for instance.
Oh yeah.
Who's an incredibly nice guy, and I worked with him for 1984.
Oh, right. Was that on his solo work? On his solo work, or?
Yes, his solo world tour.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
And that was a great band. Really enjoyed that. Ralph Ravenscroft then was playing saxophone in it. And Mick Rouse from Bad Company.
Yeah.
was also in that band. It was a very, very enjoyable time.
Yes, must have been a great tour, that one.
Yeah.
Now, so coming on to some of your other work, I believe you actually were in a band with Olivia Newton-John, is that right, at some point?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, this was after Tom.
All right, yeah.
I left Tom, and I was offered a. It was a film. It wasn't a film role.
Right.
They'd already made the movie.
Okay, yeah.
But it was called. The band was called Tomorrow.
Ah, right, yeah.
And it's not the old. I think Yes were called Tomorrow as well, weren't they?
Yes.
If I remember. Yeah. But wasn't them.
Okay, I see, yes.
The lead singer was Olivia Newton-John.
Ah, right, that's
and it lasted for probably not very long, under a year, I would say.
Okay, yes.
But because it was a film thing, they paid really well, thank you very much.
All right. Yes.
And Cubby Broccoli, the James Bond producer, made the movie, produced the movie.
Ah,
and I think it disappeared without a trace, actually.
Right. Yes. Was Olivia nice to work with? Was she sort of
Yes. Yeah, she was. She was. She was, at that time, she was engaged to Bruce Wells of the Shadows.
Ah, right. Okay, yes.
So they were engaged with it. They never took it further than engagement. But
no, that's right.
Yeah. But that was a bizarre thing in retrospect, because nobody knew who Livy was in those days.
No, I guess. Is that still the 60s then, or are we into the 70s?
That was early 70s, right before Earthband, actually.
Yes.
Right before the formation, or late 60s, early 70s, put it that way.
Yes. Well, that brings us nicely on, actually, to Manfred Mann's Earthband, which you were, I believe, in the 70s, was it 72 to 78 that you, as we were mentioning?
Yes, that's right. I brought Colin Pattendon, the bass player, into it, and Manfred brought Mick Rogers, guitarist and singer, who's still in the band, by the way.
Ah, right, yes.
Mick is still working with Earthband.
Yes.
And then, of course, after a few years, we changed to Chris Thompson.
Okay, yes, that was
singing, who is also, I believe, maybe he's not still singing these days.
Yes.
He did for a number of years, because he also had his own sort of career going.
Ah, yes.
And songwriting.
Yes.
So that was great. That was a very creative period, actually, because it says on the records produced by Manfred and Earthband, and that was the case, actually. Manfred was like executive producer, if you like, but we all put ideas in and we all wrote songs, and so it was a very creative time.
Yes. Well, the 70s certainly were producing a lot of great. Well, the 60s and 70s were producing a lot of great music and breaking new ground. So would it be right to say that in the 80s you went in more of a rock direction, maybe, with the likes of Paul Rodgers, Jimmy Page, and also, you mentioned Dave Gilmour there, and also Gary Moore. So maybe you were going more towards rock, maybe in the 80s.
Yes. I also worked with Denny Lane, actually, from Wings.
Yes, in the same.
Which was probably only for less than a year, maybe.
Yes.
But yeah, it really. 80s was. It started with Uriah Heep, actually.
Yes. All right, that was
That was the early, 1980. And that was for a couple of years.
Yes.
And then I'm trying to say, Denny Lane came after. Oh no, Gary Newman came after that.
Okay, yeah.
I also worked with Gary Newman for about a year, I think.
Yes.
Then it was Denny and chronologically, I can't put my finger on it. But the 84 was Dave Gilmour, and 85, 86 was The Firm with Jimmy Page and Paul Rodgers.
Yes, that's right.
And Tony Franklin on bass, of course.
Oh, right. That must have been a great lineup.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah. It really was.
Almost like being in Led Zeppelin, I guess. Almost.
Yeah, well, the funny thing was, we were talking, at least Franklin, myself, and Pagey were talking about getting the firm back together.
Oh, what, recently?
And then this little known band called Led Zeppelin or something decided to reform for some gigs.
Ah, right, okay.
They actually did one, which was the Armored Ertigan.
Oh, yes.
Thing that was in Wembley.
That's right, yes.
And there were all sorts of rumours that they were going to tour. But as we know now, that never happened.
No, no, they've left it at that for the moment.
Which is a great shame.
Yes.
And Jason Bonham played drums on that, of course.
Okay, yes.
That reunion.
Yes.
And he did a great job. I think he did an amazing job himself.
Yes, he's about.
He did as good as any professional drummer could have done.
Yes, oh, that's right.
I think, in my opinion.
Yes, no, he was the.
He's a funny guy too.
Oh right, so it always helps. Yes, too. Yes. And I guess at the end of the 80s there, you did some work with Gary Moore you were on his world tour in '89. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Right before Bob Daisley was on bass in that band. And that was very intense, actually.
Oh, right.
It was. I had to learn the set. Oh, that's right. Cozy Powell.
Ah, yes, he was.
I think.
Yes.
They had an argument, or he left for whatever reason.
Okay. Yes.
And I got the call, and I had to learn the set.
Ah, right. Quite quickly.
Precisely and accurately.
Yes.
In I think it was 2 days.
Oh, right. Gosh.
And then the next thing, I was on a plane on the road.
Right.
Which I didn't get a lot of sleep in that time.
No, I can imagine it was.
Because
yes.
Gary wanted it exactly, exactly.
Oh, right. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, so it was that was a huge, probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, actually.
Oh, right, yes, in terms of technical level and, learning everything in a short space of time.
Yeah, I mean, the learning of it was probably one of the hardest things I ever did.
Yes, and his some of his songs are quite complex with the arrangements and so on.
Yeah, and not just that, he wanted it played like the record.
Oh, right. Yes.
So
that
was quite a thing.
Yeah,
and it was enjoyable, though, I must say that.
I can imagine. Yes, it'd be once you sort of got a few dates into the tour and things are quite tight. Then I imagine it must become more enjoyable at that point.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah, and it's not long after that you get the call to join AC/DC.
That's right. It was the end of '89, towards the end of '89, and I think I'd finished with Gary then. That tour had finished after the war. I think it was called. Okay. Yeah, it was after the war.
Yeah.
And I got the call from the manager and said, "Would you like to audition for AC/DC?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Let me think for a second." Yes.
Yeah.
And I was just outside Brighton, but they auditioned all over the world, actually.
Oh.
I didn't know this until after. Dick Jones, the drum tech, told me.
Yeah.
weeks after I'd been in the band,
yes,
he said, "Do you know that you were number 100
right.
in the audition
oh,
line?
Right. Gosh.
You were the last one." And I thought I'd done really badly in the audition. Really, I thought, oh no. So I called my then wife and said, you know, I've lost my way back home. It was an hour from the audition. It was, I was living in East Sussex then, actually.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And I said, I've done really badly. And so she walked up the path when I got back.
Yeah.
And she went, "Oh, you did really badly." I said, "Yeah, never mind."
Yeah.
I said, "Let's go down the pub." And yeah, okay.
All right.
And she said, "Well, they just called to say that you've got the gig."
All right.
So I definitely went down the pub there.
Yes, must have been a great night of celebration.
So, yeah, it was great to, you know, in those days. And then, of course, they wrote Thunderstruck, which is like, wow.
Yes, and I believe you were involved in the album. Was it Razor's Edge, which has that track on?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're quite interested in the recording process and your experience with that track, because we've got here the album was recorded partly in Dublin. Is that right?
It started in Dublin.
Oh, right.
Yes. In the studio now, I think U2 own it now. They didn't own it in those days, but I think they now own that studio.
Yeah.
And then we moved everything. I think George Young had some problems.
Right.
Because he was producing it in Dublin.
Yeah.
He had some family problems, I think. I can't, to be honest, I don't know but I know that he couldn't carry on.
Yes.
And so we moved to Little Mountain Studios in Vancouver.
Oh, right.
And Bruce Fairbairn took over.
Ah, right. Yes. Yes, as the producer. Yes.
And very well-known producer.
Yes.
Very nice guy. And we finished the album there. I don't think we used any of the tracks from Ireland.
Okay, right.
I don't think so.
Yes.
You'd have to ask Angus there. I wasn't privy to that. Like the ins and the machinations of it all.
I see. Yes.
But it was great, and the guys were great, and you know, really down to earth, as everybody knows.
Yes.
And we had a great time. They kept moving the goalposts. It was like, oh yeah, we're going on the road for 6 months.
Yeah.
And then it was a year.
Right.
Then it was 2 years. Then it became 3 years.
Oh, right.
So, which was very nice. Thank you very much.
Well, that's it. I mean, I think there was a sort of renewed vigour for the band, especially with the track Thunderstruck. I mean, I think that would be described as one of the all-time great tracks by the band, certainly. And we're quite interested your experience with that track. I mean, we've read a bit about how it came together with Angus working on a riff that he had, and it sort of came about that way. Were you at all sort of in the process when that song was being developed, or what was your first sort of hearing of the riff or that particular song?
Well, I obviously thought it was incredibly powerful.
Yes.
You can't hear it without thinking that.
Well, that's right.
But actually, the thunder bit, you know, with the drums and everything.
Yes.
You know, the thunder was always there. The guys do they always demo stuff.
Yes.
Angus and Malcolm.
Oh, yes.
Always used to demo stuff.
Right.
So you'd get a demo of it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you sort of work it up a bit in the studios.
Oh, I see. Yes.
And it was actually, although I did play Bump Bump,
yes,
Thunder.
Oh yes,
he and I couldn't believe it really, because he asked me. He said, "Oh, I'm going to try to move some drums around and make that a real statement, that thunder."
All right, yes.
And he said, "Well, I'll have to move some drums around." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I'll have to take some." And I said, "Why don't I just play it on top, or overdub it on top?" He went, "Can you do that?" And I went, "Yes, I think I'm capable of doing that." It goes boom, boom.
All right. I see.
Which he seemed very surprised at. So I don't know.
All right. Well, yes, I hadn't thought about that aspect, but yes, that does give the thunder on the track, doesn't it? The drums starting out are the thunder.
Yeah.
Because it
was always that pattern.
Yes.
Roughly, if I can remember. I have no idea if I've got the demo even now. I probably have somewhere.
Yes.
That's a thought. Never thought about that. I got them in a drawer somewhere. Right. Probably on a cassette.
Yes.
What's a cassette, Grandad?
Well, I've got cassettes. I'm of the era to remember cassettes and vinyl. So yes. Yes. It's, all right. No, I mean,
I've heard that. Yeah. I've heard that a few times. It's like a CD.
Well,
what's a CD?
That's right. Yes, it's all downloads and things. But it's interesting because we have all sorts of ages of people on the show that we interview, and young artists often do like vinyl and cassette and so on. They do, and often I'll get some of their music made up on vinyl and cassette. Now, so it's interesting. There still is the love of those formats. Even with people who've not grown up with them, there's still, something very special, I think, about a physical format.
That's good.
Because I say we cover a whole lot of age ranges, and it seems all age ranges.
I'm sure you think that the sound on vinyl is so much better than CD.
Well, that's right, particularly for capturing acoustic instruments and the like, or live shows. Yes, I think it's just. I don't know. I find it nice just to have the item and read the sleeve notes and a bit like books as well.
Of course,
nice to have
of course. Everybody who's grown up with that always goes, "Oh, I miss the albums. I really miss them." the gatefold and all the rest of it.
Yeah, well, interesting.
Comes with it.
Artists now. I mean, Liam Gallagher has just released vinyl gatefold for his latest work. So I think artists are, still liking to.
Well, I'm in the throes of doing one with Timeline, actually.
Oh, right. You're going to be doing it.
Doing a vinyl.
Ah, right. So that'll be popular, I'm sure, with fans.
Because we've got some original material as well, but of course we'll put other the stuff we play on stage.
Yes.
Right now on there as well. So it's a souvenir for the audience. We haven't done it yet. I'm still in the studio.
Yes.
Probably have it finished by the end of next month.
Oh, right. Okay. Yes.
And so, I think it's a great thing. It's a great keepsake, I think.
Absolutely. Yes. I think, especially if it's limited edition or something like that, or picture disc.
Yes.
So,
I haven't even looked into what it costs to do that at the moment. But yes, that was my idea.
Yes. That'll be good.
To do like a. Yeah.
So, just to go back to the track Thunderstruck, when you heard it, did you think, "Wow, this is going to be a great hit," or did it take a bit of a few listens and things, or straight away did you think, "Oh, wow, this is going to be a big track"?
Well, when I heard the final mix, of course.
Yes.
When I was I thought this is really powerful.
Ah, right. So straight away, yes.
And I remember saying to Mal and Angus, why, thunder, blah, blah, blah. Why not? I'm so surprised you didn't have a thunderstorm.
Oh, yes.
And they looked at each other. They don't say a lot. They looked at each other and they just communicate by looks,
right.
They do, seriously.
Yes.
They did, I should say.
Yes.
Malcolm is sorely missed, of course.
Yeah,
the man
sadly.
Was an absolute genius on guitar.
Oh yes, some of his arrangements and so on. Yes, were.
He was. He really made my job so easy.
Right. Did you often sort of work with him, to work out parts and things, or how did it sort of tend to work?
No, we just did it. We just did it as a band.
Yes.
Even Brian. All the tracks are always done.
Yeah.
As a band in the studio.
So you'd work out the parts between you as it went along.
Well, they were mainly written, actually.
Yes.
They were, as I say, they did the demos.
Yes.
It doesn't change much from that. There's nuggets in there, and the riff goes little, all that was there.
Right. So, well, that sounds a great it sounds a nice organic process for you all to get together and all, take it from the demo to the finished product.
Yeah, there was one engineer once, studio engineer.
Yeah.
And who should be nameless?
Right.
Who I'll explain why. You first play the track, and quite often bands will tell you the first take is quite often very good.
Yes. Oh, yes.
It may have some inconsistencies.
Yes.
But the feel is usually really good.
Yes.
And then you can chop things up and move them around a bit.
Yeah.
But AC/DC don't do that too much.
All right.
So we played Thunderstruck for days.
Right.
Days. I think it was one of the other tracks. I can't remember which one.
Yeah.
But came to mix it, and Angus and Malcolm go, okay, let's have the original tracks up now.
All right.
What tracks? The guitar tracks. Let's have the original guitar tracks, and if we put any overdubs on, they do very little of that, by the way.
All right. Yes.
If then we mix it in with the original tracks.
Yeah.
And the engineer goes, well, I wiped them.
Oh no.
And they went, you what? Well, there were so many things on the track that I don't think he was there the next day, actually.
Right. Oh gosh, yes, they like to keep it real, as they say. Keep it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As I say, Brian sang on every single take.
Yes.
And it was like, it's a homogeneous whole,
Yes. Yes. Well,
that is their secret. They play it in the studio like they do on stage.
Ah, yes. Yes, and then it
with vocals and drums blocked off like in a glass box or something.
Oh, yes. Yes.
But everybody plays on every take. As I say, we played Thunderstruck for days.
Right. Yes, till you got it just right.
Yeah.
Well, I think that really shows, because in the live concerts, then the band is really able to reproduce the album track in very authentically because of that process. I think that does.
Yeah, it is, as you said. It's very organic.
Yeah.
It is, and once, it's just genius, literary genius.
Yes.
The simplicity that it seems, actually. It ain't as simple as it...
well, no, that's right.
If anybody's tried to learn an AC/DC track, they'll soon find there's a bit more to it.
Yes, well, certainly. I mean, I've been trying some of Thunderstruck, and the rhythmic part at the beginning is quite difficult because the sort of the way the guitar's playing, the sort of that linking in with the drums is actually quite tricky to do in a band. I've tried that just with my own recording, and it's not to get it in sync is even just the beginning.
Yeah.
Is
yeah. There was one time And again, an engineer, a different engineer,
yeah,
said, look, instead of playing this for days and days, why don't I just loop it, and then you guys can play to it, which is like playing to a click track.
Yes, yes, that's it. Yeah.
And it's like, well, give me half an hour and I'll put that together.
Oh.
You know, I'll just get it looped. So Angus plays the phrase maybe 10 times.
All right.
The engineer says, just go have a cup of tea and come back in half hour. So came back in half an hour, and he plays the loop.
Yeah.
And Angus goes, that's wrong there. That's wrong. And it doesn't tie up the same.
All right.
He goes, just give me another half an hour. So go and have a cup of tea. So off we go, have a cup of tea. Because nobody is drinking alcohol.
Oh, right.
You know?
Okay, yeah.
No. That don't happen.
Yeah.
So come back another half an hour. And the guy plays it again or plays his loop again.
Yeah.
And then Angus goes, that's not, he went, let's go play it.
Yes.
So, and that's what he did.
Yeah.
So I literally mean days and days.
Oh, right. Too.
That we played that track over and over. Maybe that's why Angus played so well on stage.
Yes. Well, it always comes across amazingly well, that on stage. I mean, it's just, I think the crowd love it, don't they? I mean, straight away, it's sort of, as you were saying earlier, yeah, as soon as you hear that riff, it sort of grabs you, doesn't it, straight away? It's
yeah.
I think a lot of people around the world know the riff as well. I think it's become such an iconic riff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely it is. Yeah. And there's so many people, so many organizations that use it to motivate their, like American football players use it.
Yeah.
Paratroopers use it when they jump out of a plane.
Ah, right, yes.
I've been told this by football players and paratroopers.
Ah, right. So it definitely is the case. Yes, it's a very It's one of those sort of tracks I think of as the power of music, because you almost can't describe why it has the effect it has, but it's just very powerful, isn't it? That phrase that you hear, and then the drums backing it up. It just all comes together, and it's one of those indescribable things in a way, but you just know it's great when it's happening. And we must just touch on as well, because I believe you were part of one of the Donington shows, and I've seen the clips of that where they do the track Thunderstruck. I mean, that must have been amazing, playing that in front of, I think it was over 70,000 people.
Yeah, I think it was more than that.
Yeah.
But, we played it actually in Moscow, in Russia, to 1 million people.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And the last tour, I think we broke the record in Austria.
Yes.
For the most people to any one band. I don't mean a festival.
Oh, right, yes.
I think it was 200,000 people to...
Oh, my gosh.
it looked like a festival, but the only band of any name on the bill, there was a support band. That was it.
Yes.
They supported the whole tour. And... it was 200. I think it was 200,000 people. That's a record for Austria.
Wow.
As far as I know, it still stands.
Yes, that sounds like it might be a world record as well.
Yeah, it probably is.
Well, that brings us on almost to the present day, because you had sort of two tenures, am I right, in AC/DC? You were there, was it 89 to the mid-90s, and then you've come back recently for the Rock or Bust tour? That's
right, yep. And that was a shock.
Oh, right, to come back.
Pleasant shock.
Yeah.
But I thought, they're not going to call me.
Oh, right, you weren't expecting. Must have been a nice surprise then.
No, not at all.
Right.
Really, truly, I was not expecting it one bit.
Right.
People, friends were saying, they're going to call you, aren't they? I went, look, they've got a whole world to choose from. There's no need to come back to me. Yeah. And then I got the call. And as time went on, of course,
yeah,
it was like, no, they're not going to call now. You know,
right.
It's too late. They'll have already started rehearsing or whatever.
Yes,
with whoever it is, yes. Whether it's a nephew of Angus or what.
Yes.
You know. So when it came, it was quite a shock. I was actually in Switzerland with Timeline.
Oh right.
And the tour manager's going. He knocks on the door and goes, "Come on, we got to go." I went, "It's AC/DC," and he went, "Whoa," and ran away. So yeah, it was. At the end of the conversation with the manager, I said, "Did the guys ask for me?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Yes, of course. I wouldn't have made this call without them asking me." I went, "Oh, that's all right then."
Yeah,
so it was a bit of disbelief there.
Yes.
You know?
Must have been.
And it was fantastic.
Oh, yeah, it must have been great.
Really. And even when Brian had his problem with his hearing and Axel came in.
Oh, right, yes.
You know?
Right, yes.
A lot of people, I was, for one, I was very skeptical that would work out at all.
Yes.
Because I'd heard the stories and things, you know? Yes. About not turning up for shows, things like that.
Yes, yes. But,
and I said, "What? Axl Rose?" And then I met him, and he was the nicest guy in the world.
Ah, right, okay. That was, maybe he's calmed down from his years of...
Yeah, it was such a shock. And then when he started singing, it's like, this guy can sing.
Oh, yes, very powerful vocals, yeah.
I'd only ever heard that... Guns N' Roses voice, you know.
Ah, right, yes, yes. No, he was.
I didn't know that he could sing.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
unbelievable.
I think he started out in similar routes, you know, with sort of, well, I don't know how heavy rock, but yeah, he has quite a flexible voice to sing, you know, from ballads to heavy rock, really. So yeah, I think he has the flexibility to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he was telling jokes, you know, and turning up on time, and it was like, wow.
Yeah.
He said on a show, on a Guns N' Roses show.
Yeah.
After, like, this is just a few years back.
All right. He
said, you know, I went to in AC/DC. This announcement between songs, you know.
Oh yes.
In AC/DC, I went to boot camp. And he goes, "What does he mean by that?" Well, they told me that if I screw up, I get the boot.
Ah, right. So we have to be on his best behaviour. So, yes, well, it's quite a responsibility to come in to that band and well, for any of the positions. But yes, it's. But I think the fans seem to take to him as well, and. It seems to be, a good setup. So we're coming on to the present day now. So we're interested actually that you were doing your band, the Chris Slade Timeline, alongside AC/DC. So before you got the call to come back, it was a band that had already been running for some time.
Yeah, I think we formed it in, I may be wrong, but 85.
Ah, right. Oh, so it's been going for quite a while, yes.
Yeah, with, of course, AC/DC in the middle.
Yes.
And I just remember, I lived, as I said in the beginning, I lived in Camden.
Yeah, oh yes.
And I met Bon when he lived in Camden.
We were going to ask you about that, yes, whether you'd met him.
He was with Frankie Miller, singer Frankie Miller.
Oh, right, yes.
I played on one of his albums too, actually.
Okay.
The one with the hat. Darling, do you remember? You know that
yes.
version of Darling? I played on that.
Oh, right, gosh. So you met Bon on a night out?
So I met him. There was a late night drinking. I think it was a Greek restaurant.
Oh, right.
It was underneath a Greek restaurant.
Yeah.
And they used to stay open till like 2:00 in the morning.
Okay, yeah.
So a lot of musicians went there.
Yes.
and it was just up the road, just across the road from the Roundhouse.
Ah, yes.
So it was all on that little strip there.
Yes.
And as I say, it was with Frankie Miller, and I'd worked with Frankie, so, we said hello, and he said, "Oh, this is Bon." I went, "Oh,
all right."
And I was drunk, and he was drunk, so it didn't go much further than that.
No.
But it was great to meet him.
Oh, yes. Would that be when he was with AC/DC then at that time?
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe mid-70s, late 70s perhaps, or?
It wasn't long before he died, unfortunately.
Right. So, yes, late 70s then, yes. Well, it's interesting, yeah, we were wondering if you had met him, so that's very interesting that you did.
Yeah, but it was that brief, but at least I did meet him.
Yeah, it was nice.
I was watching the Let There Be Rock video the other day.
Oh, yes.
The original video where he's a preacher and all that.
Yes.
I think the whole thing, the song and that video is genius. I really mean it.
Yes. I mean, that's certainly another amazing one. Certainly another one of the what you would call AC/DC iconic tracks. I think Let There Be Rock, isn't it? I mean, it's yeah.
Absolutely. It's we've learned it. I say we. Timeline learned it because we did a festival just a few weeks back. Maybe it was less than that. In Belgium called Let There Be Rock Festival.
Ah, right. Okay.
So the band Timeline learned it for that. We'll probably play it on Friday, actually.
Oh, right. So that'll be good. I'm coming on Friday, so I look forward to that.
Oh, good one.
Yeah.
Good one.
Well, yeah. I mean, to link in the Bon Scott as well, I mean, Mornington Crescent, across the way is what is now Coco nightclub. It's actually going under a refurbishment at the moment, but it is still going to be Coco when it opens. That used to be known, I mean, you may have well been in, used to be the Music Machine.
Oh, right. To be honest, I can't remember it, but I never went down the posh end.
Ah, right, out end, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, as fate would have it, that was the Music Machine, which is now Coco, was actually the last venue that Bon Scott went in on the night that or the night before, the morning after he was discovered out in Dulwich, I think. But yes, that was the last place that he was at on a night out, actually. What was the Music Machine, now Coco. But yes, we've spoken to other artists from that era on the show, and they did mention that, in those days, as you were alluding to there, a lot of musicians hung out in Camden at the various clubs that were around, so you would bump into musicians from other bands quite often in venues such as Coco and so on.
Especially late night drinking places.
Oh, right, yes, and the Roundhouse and so on, and... yes, it'd be... Did you bump into Jimmy Page? Because I know he's someone who's been in the area quite a bit in Camden.
You did see him? Is that what you said?
No, well, I've seen... no, I haven't. I've seen Robert Plant, actually, around Camden, because he lives around here. But that's in the present day, but... yeah.
Right.
I was just wondering if you saw them in the sort of 70s.
I met Robert, of course, through... Jimmy, of course.
Ah, right, yes.
And he's a really nice guy. Nice guy.
Yes. Were they around in the sort of 70s, 80s in Camden, or?
I wasn't aware of. No,
perhaps not.
I was aware of Pagey in the 60s.
Ah, right, yeah.
Because he was like, as far as we were concerned, the world's top session player.
Yes.
In those days. I mean, he even played on It's Not Unusual with Tom Jones, Yeah, he played on the Kinks, records as well. As famously, people know that now, but Jim told me that, and I said, that was you, wasn't it? On, was it All Day and All of the Night, is it, I think?
Yes.
And he said, oh, yeah, that's me.
Yes.
And he told me an hilarious story, which I'm keeping for my book.
Oh, okay, right. Oh, you've got a book. Well, we'll come on to your book in a minute, but it brings us nicely on to, the fact you've had such a great career and worked with all sorts of different bands. So on Friday, we'll just remind listeners that this Friday the 20th, you're going to be on with your band, Chris Slade Timeline, at Underworld in Camden Town. So what can people expect? Are you going to be, I think you touched on it earlier, but are you going to be doing sort of tracks from all through your career and mix that in with some AC/DC?
Yeah. Yes. As I said in the beginning, it's 50% AC/DC and 50%, stuff like David Gilmour, Uriah Heep, Gary Moore. So I don't know how long they're going to give us, but we usually play for 2 hours at least. Right.
I would have thought they'd give you the 2 hours, because if it's going well and the audience is loving it, which I'm sure they will be, then the venue's usually fine to let it continue.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any particular curfew there, so hopefully...
we haven't done a show where after, say, 2 hours, we say, sorry, this is the last number.
Oh, right.
Everybody complains.
Okay.
There's a big groan, and it's like, no, we don't want you to finish. And it's like, we've been playing for 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's like, we could actually play for 3.
Yeah.
But I think that would be too much.
Yes. There's enough repertoire.
So Springsteen can do that, but I don't know if anybody else can.
No.
I suppose Foo Fighters could.
Yes, maybe they could keep going for.
I saw them when they were the last tour they did.
Oh, right.
So Dave and Taylor.
Oh yes, well I think they played at Dingwalls.
That was good.
They played at Dingwalls in Camden, I think.
Did they?
I think they have before, yes.
But when was that? When they first started, so to speak.
Perhaps that's what it was. Yes.
Yeah. So really nice guys, both of them, unbelievably nice guys.
Yes, I think they're quite forward thinking in terms of how they approach music. I think as well, they seem to be very in tune with what the audience wants.
That's right.
And also helping other the Foo Fighters. They're quite, and certainly Dave Grohl is quite into, he likes helping new musicians and new bands and giving them advice and so on.
Oh yeah, he is incredibly one of the nicest people. Really, seriously, he is a genuine person.
Yes. So it sounds like
there's not many of them in this business.
Wow. No, that's it. So it sounds like you do like to go to gigs yourself as well as playing in gigs, of course. Do you?
I enjoy. I love being on the side of the stage.
Oh, right. Okay.
Not in the audience so much. I love being on the side.
Yes.
And of course, that's the way I hear bands. I've been hearing them like that all my life.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
that's true.
So I'm used to that sound, and when I'm in the audience, it's like, it doesn't sound the same as when you're on the stage.
Oh, I suppose it is a bit different. Yeah. Now, with your band, the Timeline, has it played in London a lot before, or has it played in Camden before?
No, not Timeline. As I say, I have with various configurations of friends and stuff.
Oh, right.
But no. I think I've only played it maybe once or twice.
Right.
And it was quite a long time ago.
Okay, yes.
So I'm really looking forward to see what happens.
Yes.
We haven't played a lot in Britain.
Oh, right.
Over the past few years.
Yes.
We've been doing mainly in Europe.
Okay, yes.
So really looking forward to this.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the tour. So you've done sort of 3 dates overseas in Europe, including a couple of festivals, and after London, you're going to be going on a bit of a tour of the UK, by the looks of it.
Yes, we're doing a few. We're trying to, if you like, break into Britain.
Yes. Yes, well, I think there'll be a good appetite because there seems to have been a bit of a resurgence in support for rock bands, I think, these days. I mean, I think that was shown by AC/DC's tour and the amount of people that attended that. There's still a great love of rock music.
Yeah. So, well, it was 80,000 people every night,
Yes, it was. Well, I was fortunate to attend the Wembley show, actually. So it was great.
Right.
Great to catch that one. Great. Now, do you have any particular, or I don't know if it's possible to say, if you have a favourite AC/DC song or maybe you might want to mention 2 or 3 that are, particular favourites to perform.
Yeah, well, I think, I love playing Riff Raff.
Oh, right, okay, yes. Yes, that's...
That is so much fun to play. And of course, Thunderstruck, of course, that goes without saying.
Oh, right, yes. Yes.
But my favourite, actually, I bought Highway to Hell when it came out.
Oh, right, yes.
I was in Earthband, I think, and I took it home and I played it and played it and played it and played it.
Yes.
And in the end, my favourite was Touch Too Much.
Okay, yes. That's interesting.
Yeah. So it was great to be able to play Touch So Much with Axel, because we never played it with Brian.
Oh, right. Was he not?
Axel asked for that, and he asked for Riff Raff.
Oh, right.
And Angus, said, "Yeah, we'll get it together, and then we can do it." And that's how that happened. So I was really happy to play Riff Raff with AC/DC. It's just brilliant.
Oh, right. Now, do you want to introduce the band members who are part of the Chris Slade timeline?
Sure. Let's think. On guitar, there's James Cornford.
Yeah.
Lead guitar. Rhythm guitar is Mike Clark.
Okay, yeah.
Who also plays keyboards.
All right.
And he plays... I wanted a keyboard player in the band because obviously there's lots of keyboard stuff with Earthband and all that. So then I said... and we were friends, by the way. The whole band have been friends for years before they're only 30 years old.
Oh, right.
But I'd known them since they were in school.
Oh, right, gosh.
And they work in various bands through Kent. So there's Mike Clark, keyboards and guitar.
Yeah.
There's Andy Crosby on bass.
Oh, right, yeah.
I think they're all Kent guys. No, and then the AC/DC singer is Paul Bunn Davis, B-U-N. Paul Bunn Davis, not Bon Bunn. And the second singer is Steve Glasscock.
Yes. Oh, so you have a couple of singers in the lineup.
Yeah, we have 2 singers because it's such a diverse material.
Yes.
There's very few singers who could sing AC/DC and then sing July Morning.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes. Yes.
So it's and it also adds variety, of course.
Oh yes, with the.
So people don't get bored with just AC/DC.
No. No, I'm sure they won't on Friday. Now, I believe you're going to have your Rock or Bust drum kit on stage. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Ah, right.
Yeah, I've been touring with it ever since I came off the tour.
Yes, and was that a specially made drum kit for the tour?
Yes, you could say that.
Yeah.
It was. It's the DW Drum Workshop drums.
Oh yeah.
Which to me they're just the best.
Yes.
It's impossible to get a better drum than that. And they sound amazing.
Yes.
And they did a paint job for me, and so it's covered in lightning strikes.
Yes.
So very pleased about that, but I'm also pleased that it sounds just amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. So they've been very good to me over the years, DW.
Yes.
And very pleased to still be working with them. Actually, I'm very pleased to still be working.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Well, I guess you're becoming more unique because I think there's. It's well, we kind of touched on it earlier. You've got to have very patient neighbours to learn the drums. So I think it's it's a harder one to learn than some other instruments. That's one reason, I think, and just I think the dedication is more, isn't it? Because you've really got to be dedicated to it.
Yeah. I tell people that they say, "Oh, what can my son do? He plays drums. Is there any secret?" I said, "No, there's no secret. It's just practice, practice, practice."
That's it, dedication.
And yeah, and I saw that in a footballer's quote yesterday. They said, "How did you?" He said, "It's just practice.
Yeah,
simply practice."
Well, that's right.
And it's the same with and dedication, as you said.
Yes.
Because while your mates are out, playing soccer or rugby in my case, I was in my house woodshedding, as it's known.
Yes, as they call it. Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So, then I just, I was into the thick of it, both feet with Tom Jones. We were playing rock and roll, like Jerry Lee Lewis and Little Richard stuff. We were rockers.
Yes.
And our actual first real professional gig was supporting the Rolling Stones.
Oh, was it? Gosh.
When they first came out with a record, which was "Come On," Chuck Berry song.
Oh yes.
And I bought that record, so it's all down to me that they made it big.
Yes. Oh yes. Was that in Wales, that gig then that you supported?
No, it was in Oxford Street.
Oh right, okay.
In London.
Oh. Right.
It was a basement club called either Beat City or Tiles. I can't remember.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Which came first, whether they changed it from Tiles to Beat City or from Beat City to Tiles.
Yes.
So, and the whole of Oxford Street was closed down.
Oh, right, for the show.
And I talked to Bill Wyman about that, about 10 years ago or so.
Oh, right, yes.
And he remembers, he even wrote in his book about this, it's in his book.
Yes.
He remembers Tom and the Squires, and Tom, it was so hot in that place that Tom tipped a bucket of water over himself and cooled himself down. There might have been water, I'm not quite sure.
Right.
Anyway.
Maybe it was champagne.
And then of course he was steaming.
Oh, right.
And so I said to Bill, I went, I was at that gig, Oxford Street, blah, blah, blah. He remembers everything about it. He's written the date and everything.
Oh, right.
And he went, yeah, I remember that. And he silenced for a sec, and he went, "Not, wasn't it?" Because we couldn't breathe. It was in a cellar, and there must have been 200 or 300 people in the cellar. But Oxford Street was closed down, literally closed down.
Gosh. Was maybe in the middle of summer.
Because you could, in those days, you could drive your cars up and down, you see, Oxford Street.
Oh,
now it's just buses, isn't it?
That's right.
Taxis.
Yes, they've made it.
Yeah. But in those days, it was cars.
Ah, right. You can
so they blocked the cars driving.
Oh, gosh. Actually, talking of books, you mentioned there, you're working on a book, or is it out already?
No, it's not out.
Right.
I haven't finished it yet.
Okay, right.
I've only been writing it for about 25 years, actually.
Right.
So it's just finishing it off. Hopefully it'll be by next year, because I don't have a lot of time,
No, that's right, with the touring and so on, yes. Yeah. Have you got any working title you might have for the book, or?
I do, but I'm not going to tell.
No.
Because I think it's a very good title, so I don't want to go broadcasting.
Okay, yes. Well, I think with drums, I can imagine.
I don't think my sons even know. Actually, I don't think my kids know. And both my sons are drummers.
Oh,
by
are
the way.
they? Oh, right. Okay.
Professional players. One lives in Canada, and one's in Brighton, actually.
Oh, right. Do they go out touring with bands and things?
They have been, yes.
Yeah.
They have. Various, they change about.
Yes.
So, but obviously, I'm very proud of them, both of them. They both have their own style. Callum is more of a funk player.
Oh, right, yes.
And very good. And Jack is very rock.
Yes.
Very inventive rock player.
Okay.
Like with double kicks and everything that goes with the. I play double kick.
Yes.
He plays double kick.
Oh, right. Yes.
So,
yes, I know what you mean. You can do all sorts of complicated rhythms just with the kick drums if you've got double.
Oh yeah.
Double kick drums. Yeah.
Unbelievable what they do these days.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
But I do like double kick. Yeah, I mean certainly for rock sound, it really does add to it when you've got the double kick. I think it's.
Yeah. Of course, I didn't play double kick with AC/DC.
Oh, okay. Is that single? Is it when?
In the first tour, I used to just do the endings.
Oh, right.
With double kicks.
Ah, right.
You can hear it if you listen to the endings.
Yes.
Just because they went on for a long time.
Yes.
In those days.
Yes.
The endings of AC/DC. And so I used double kicks then.
Okay, yeah.
Rock or Bus Tour, I didn't use them at all.
Oh,
in fact, I didn't have two kicks on the kit.
Oh, that's interesting. I suppose these days with the technology, they can make the whole kit louder anyway and sort of beef up the kick sound with the technology.
You're in the hands of the sound mixer.
Yeah.
Really, You have to trust the sound mixer to get your sound out there.
That's it, yes.
So it's it's very important to have that guy out front who's on your side,
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Now, with AC/DC, are there any more plans for any further tours or albums? Or
I cannot even comment.
No.
No, I really can't. You understand?
Oh, absolutely, yes. But I imagine if there are, it's something that you'd love to be involved in once again if the opportunity is.
Absolutely, yes. Yes.
So
there's all sorts of rumours. There always are rumours.
Oh yes.
Like
That's it. Yeah.
Elvis Presley is joining AC/DC.
That's
like,
it. Yes.
I don't think so.
Yes.
And this goes on for years and years. They start when we come off the road.
Oh right.
Oh yeah, they're going to be doing a gig in Malibu.
Yes.
No, I don't think so.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, they're going to write an opera.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yes.
So there's all sorts of crazy rumours.
Yes, that come out.
They're in South America for a gig. No, they're not. No, they're not.
Yes.
So that everybody will know, including me. Everybody will know when it happens.
Oh yes. It'd be. But you'd be quite happy to go around the world again if the opportunity arises.
Oh, absolutely. I love it. I love being on the road.
Yes. Oh, right.
I love to be going somewhere.
Yes. Yes.
I'm just a travel nut.
Yeah.
Oh, an American friend of mine goes, "Hey, Slade, do you realize they pay us to travel?" But it's great. I love meeting people and I love being on the road and going new places. Not even new. I don't mind going old places. as long as I'm going places.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. It's now. I know you mentioned the band hasn't played at Underworld Camden. Is it your first visit to Underworld Camden as well?
No. I've been there before. I've played there before, as I said. But,
with different.
But I think some of the guys have played it with other bands.
Oh, have they? Oh, okay, yes.
I think so. I couldn't tell you which ones have, but I think they've certainly been there to see other bands.
Oh, right, okay.
All of them.
Yes.
And I can't. You'll have to ask them what they've done.
Yes.
But they've been gigging around. As I said, they're 30. The two singers are older than that.
Oh, right. Okay.
Just a little bit.
Yes.
No, they are. They're more mature, shall I say?
Oh, I see. Yes. That makes sense.
They're still not anywhere near my age. Nowhere near.
Yes. Well, I have to say, you don't sound your age, I have to say, because I did, when I was doing my research, I did look at your age, but you don't sound it on the phone, so that's good.
I'm very lucky. Yes. Very lucky. And I'd stop playing if I couldn't play with power.
Oh, right, okay, yes.
If it went, I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
I would stop.
Yeah.
I'd be heartbroken.
Yes, if you couldn't.
Absolutely heartbroken.
Do you have any?
I didn't think I'd be alive at 50. Oh, right. Now I'm still playing drums at my age.
Yeah, because it's very physically demanding. I know from drummers I've spoken to, and having tried. I mean, I'm not a particular drummer, but I've tried it, and I know, physically demanding. Even just playing for a couple of minutes can be.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. With AC/DC, the first time around, I don't know what we did the second time. The first time around, we played for 2.5 hours.
Oh, right. Yes, certainly.
And Let There Be Rock was like 25 minutes long.
All right, in itself.
Yes.
Yes.
If you look at Donington and look at Let There Be Rock.
Oh, yes.
It just goes. There's one part in the middle.
Yes.
I think Angus had a guitar problem.
Oh, right. So it went on.
And he had to go out into the audience to go on his riser. Used to rise up.
Yes.
Above the audience. Then he'd do his guitar solos.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So that just went on forever. Oh. And I think it took about at least 5 minutes, if not 10 minutes, out of the track.
Oh, right.
Because you may notice, drummers may notice, certainly, that there's little sections where it speeds up fractionally.
Oh, right.
And that happens about twice.
Right.
And it's because they've edited the tape.
Ah. Oh, I see. Yes.
So they edit it, and then they take, how many bars out, and then they're back in. And of course, it rose incrementally.
Yes.
The tempo rose incrementally, not to a great degree.
Yeah.
Because I never play to a click, by the way.
Oh, right. Oh, that's interesting. Yes.
Not ever with AC/DC.
No.
Not ever. I did with the band Asia. I was in the band Asia as well.
Ah, yes. Yes, we've got that as another.
And, sometimes that was click led because of so many overlays of keyboards and things.
Yes.
But never with AC/DC. Not on stage, not in the studio, not ever. Oh. I used to have, Angus and Mal used to set the tempos.
Yeah.
So people have a go at me saying, he plays things too fast. I never set the tempo. No. Angus and Mal set the tempos.
Oh, right, yeah.
And Dick Jones, drum tech, he fixed up a flashing light for me before the song started, and he would always change it over to the next song,
Oh, right, yeah.
And it was a flashing red light, and it'd be like, just no sound, just red light, tick, tick, that, and I'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're off into the song.
Oh, right.
And then Dick would turn the flashing light off.
Yes.
So I never played to any kind of click.
Oh, right. Well.
And the recordings were never messed about with I'm trying to think of the word, to put it all in time, quantized.
Oh, yes, that's
the track was never quantized.
Yes, that makes sense.
The tempos, once they started, that's all me, folks.
Yes. Well, it's good. It keeps it authentic.
And there's some other guys in the band as well. I better mention them.
Right.
Like Angus and Malcolm and Cliff, and
Yes, because the bass player, he was, I think, has he left recently? He was the bass player for many years since the 70s.
Yeah, he did. He, like me, started way back then.
Yes.
I remember him when he was in a band called Home.
Oh, right, yes.
And we did a few gigs, Earth Band.
This is Cliff Williams, yeah.
Cliff Williams, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is he from Wales as well?
Yeah,
I'm just thinking with the name Williams. Is he?
No, he's from London, actually.
Ah, right.
Yeah. Brian, of course, is Newcastle.
Yes, of course, yes.
And Angus and Mal and Stevie are British. Even though they started in Australia.
That's right,
They were born in Britain.
In Scotland, I think, is that right? And then they...
Yeah, Scotland, yeah.
Yes.
The Nobles in Glasgow.
That's right, and they emigrated quite early on.
When they were about 10, something like that.
That's right, yes.
The whole family went to Australia.
Well,
and, yeah.
Will any of the guys come out to see, or have they come out to see your band?
No. Everybody lives on different continents.
Ah, right, so it's be a bit tricky. Unless...
They live on at least 2.
Yes.
Angus lives between Australia and Holland.
Yes.
Where his wife comes from.
Ah, yes.
And Britain.
Yes.
So he's usually back and forth there.
Yes.
And I live part of the time in the States also.
Oh, right.
So
in Los Angeles? Or?
We're all over the place.
Yes. Are you in Los Angeles when you're in the States, or?
No, Las Vegas actually.
Oh, right, okay. Do you do shows there as well?
I have done.
Yeah.
Not with Timeline.
Okay.
Not with Timeline.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I've worked. I've done a lot of shows in America on my own, but not with Timeline. Unfortunately, right. I'm working on that right now.
Okay.
Would love to do that.
Oh, so
love to do it.
Maybe a US tour in the pipeline then.
I would love that to happen.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I know quite a few venues to start with,
yes.
so work it from there.
Yes, absolutely.
The problem is visas.
Of course, yes. Yes, work visas and things, yes.
People are having a lot of problems with visas. They book a tour. They book a tour, which is hard enough anyway.
Yes.
And then because they got a tour,
yes.
you can't do it before. You can't get the visa before you've got the tour.
No.
So it's chicken and egg.
That's right.
So then you get the tour, and it's in 6 months' time, and then you send for your visa.
Yes.
Or apply for your visa. Then you have to go to the embassy and do interviews, and also everybody has to. Every single film star, musician, whoever they are, has to go and have an interview.
Yes.
In the American embassy.
That's right. Yes.
And then they say, "Oh, okay, you got the visas. So that's great. We go in 6 months, and the visas come 7 months later."
Yes.
And it's all over the internet. Actually, that happening
all
the time.
Yes, it's difficult. I think these days there's more delays on visas and things. And well, I think it's going to be a great place to play, Camden Town, for your band this Friday, and I think very apt as well. Certainly, when we've spoken about your history with Camden Town, and also, certainly Bon Scott's links with Camden Town, and I'm sure the other guys, I'm sure Angus and Malcolm have been to Camden Town many times.
Yes,
and I'm sure Brian.
They used to live in London, of course.
Yes, that's it. And I'm sure Brian as well. Has been, I'm sure when he was younger he would come down from Newcastle quite a bit to...
oh yeah, no, he was also, when the band were in London, he is in London. Yes,
he was around there, yes. Yeah, because I think he was in the band Geordie, wasn't he? He is a Geordie and he was in the...
Yeah,
he was in the band
that's
Geordie
right.
When he started out, yes. Yeah, but sadly he's had to retire from touring, hasn't he, because of his health, but... Yes, well, it is. I mean, a very demanding band to play with, isn't it? I mean, the loudness of the tracks, and as you mentioned, some tracks can be sort of 20 minutes long and 2-hour sets. It's very demanding all round, isn't it? Physically and
absolutely. Physically demanding, physically and mentally.
Yes, I
didn't realise that until I went to see a specialist years back.
Yeah.
And he wrote on his notes, physically and mentally demanding job. And I looked at it and went, I'm a drummer.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't That's the first time I realised it.
Yeah.
It was only about 30 years ago. First time I realised that, he is right.
Yeah, well, it's a very high levels of concentration, and I think that, constant travelling and things, I think it does, it's all demanding, isn't it?
The travelling, was it Charlie Watts said, they said, you've been in the business about 50 years. He said, 4 years playing, the rest hanging around.
Ah, right. Waiting for planes, trains, and automobiles. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think if you enjoy it, and it sounds like you love what you do, then that makes it a whole lot easier, doesn't it? Because it doesn't.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I love it. I wouldn't be doing this.
No.
If I because some people just can't stand touring.
No, that's right.
I love it.
Yeah, we've had artists interviewed on here, and they've said, they kind of like touring, but they're quite happy to be in the studio a lot of the time and just do a 25% touring. It's not everybody's cup of tea to be touring around the world, but for some artists it is, and it's great to hear because people all around the world. I mean, I think the thing that is unifying with rock music is it's popular in almost every country, isn't it, around the world? I mean,
it is India, or places like that.
That's right.
China, there you go. How about that?
Yeah, and I know AC/DC have done great gigs in places like Argentina. Get huge crowds, don't they, in the outdoor stadiums there, and because I think you don't realise how big they are in other countries like, say, Argentina, until you see or play at a show with 100,000 suddenly, you think, wow, they're actually as big in that country as they are in other countries in the world. So they kind of
to be honest, Britain is the smallest market.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it is, honestly.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Holland is. They're more popular in Holland, shall I say, than they are in Britain. Ah,
that's interesting. Yeah, I think the thing, maybe you'll agree with the UK, is that there is a strong rock following, but it's kind of mixed in with a lot of other genres. There's kind of a strong following for several genres, isn't there? So it's sort of shared. Maybe that's what it is. It's you meet as many rock fans as you do, say, fans of other styles.
I'm always amazed how many bands come out of, even AC/DC, they were born in Britain.
Well, that's right.
Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, the Beatles, Rolling Stones, and on and on and on and on.
Yes.
For such a small country,
that's it.
The musicians Britain has produced is phenomenal.
Yes, it is incredible. Yes. Actually, you mentioned there the Beatles. Have you any stories of meeting members of the Beatles over the years?
Yes. I actually played on a bill I was with Tom Jones.
Yeah.
And the Beatles and the Rolling Stones were on the same show.
Oh, right. Wow. It doesn't get much better than that. Can you remember where that was?
And, I think it was a New Musical Express Poll Winners Poll.
Oh, right.
And it was in Wembley.
Yeah.
And everybody was on that show, like Dusty Springfield.
Oh, right.
There were dozens, because in those days, everybody only did 10 minutes.
Oh, right.
And if you were the Beatles, you got to play 15 minutes.
Right. Yes.
It's true. Absolutely true.
Oh, right.
If you were on a package tour,
yes,
as they were known, and there were 5 bands on, you all got 10 minutes.
Oh, right.
And then the headlining act got 15. I think after a while, it went up to 20 minutes.
Oh, right.
For the headliners.
Yes.
But that's true. So the Beatles and the Stones did probably 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yes.
Each. And then, I think we did with Tom, I think we did 2 songs. That was it.
All right.
But there were hundreds of bands on the bill,
Oh, right. Yes, on the same.
Jerry and the Pacemakers, you name it,
yes.
They were on this show. So, and then, as I said, my first London gig was supporting the songs.
Yeah, all right, yes. Yes, so, well, I'm looking forward to your book coming out. I think that's going to be a great read.
Yeah, me too. So's my missus, actually.
All right. Yes.
Yeah. So I'll get one to you when it's done.
Yes, well, we can review it on the show certainly. And tomorrow is Graham Bonnet from used to be in Rainbow is on at the Underworld actually.
Yeah, of course. I've worked with him in Russia, in Moscow.
Okay, so we're heading.
I didn't play drums with him. I was on the same bill.
Oh right, well, so we're heading down there for that one. So we've got 2 nights in a row.
Nice one.
Tomorrow for him, and then your gig on Friday. So we'll be. I think our heads will be rattling after those couple of nights to be.
Yeah.
Should be.
Well, say hi to Graham. He worked with Michael Schenker, didn't he? As far as I remember.
Yeah, I think he was.
He's working with him right now, I think.
Yeah, and tomorrow's is Alcatraz gig that he's doing.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah.
So yes, it's that's tomorrow's lineup. But I didn't know he sung Since You've Been Gone until I was researching it, and then because I knew he was in Rainbow, but I didn't know he'd sung on that.
Oh really?
Yeah, I didn't know he'd sung on that track. It's one of those tracks you know and you've heard loads, but I didn't know it was him singing.
I think there was didn't he? I think he worked with Denny Lane on.
Yes.
Oh, was the band called Balls? I think it was.
I might have done, yes. Yes.
I think it was. And Denny asked me to do that, and I think I was obviously working somewhere else.
Yes.
In the States or something.
Right, at the time, yes. Yes, I think Graham's based in Los Angeles these days, I think I was reading. I think so.
Yeah, well, if you see him, say hi.
Yeah, no, I will do, yeah. I'll tell him to come to your show.
Remind him about, and I worked with Michael Schenker as well.
Right,
by the way.
Yes.
For about 5 years.
Oh, yes.
Off and on.
Right. In the Michael Schenker group, yes.
Yeah, MSG, yeah.
That's right, yes.
Well, it started with Schenker, just Michael Schenker,
yes.
And then he put MSG back together.
That's right, yes. Yes, it was...
With Chris Glenn, the original bass player.
Yes.
Who was in Sensational Alex Harvey band.
Right, yes. Yes, that's... I always love hearing about all the links between all the different bands and...
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah, well, there's always some that you don't know that you hear, I didn't know he was in that then. There's always some pieces that you haven't put together and then suddenly you realise how things came about through...
Yeah, it's like musical chairs.
It is, yeah, like a big sort of jigsaw sometimes with it.
Somebody says to me, a musician will say to me, were you, you were in your heap. I say, yeah, weren't you?
Yes. Yeah, it's... That's it. No, I can't. Well, I'll mention if I get to speak to Graham, I'll tell him to come down on Friday if he's still around. If he's in town for a couple of days, he can. Well,
he may be touring, of course. He may be somewhere else on Friday.
Yeah, he might be off. Well, just before you go, we do a quick 1 minute.
Go ahead.
We do a very quick 1 minute feature called Favourite 10, where we ask you 10 favourite things in 1 minute.
Yeah, I don't mind.
All right. Okay, we'll get started. All right, here we go. Favourite book.
Dune.
Favourite place to go on holiday?
New Mexico.
All right. Favourite terrain, countryside or town?
Well, I love the desert, actually.
All right. Favourite type of tree?
Well, I use oak, actually.
Right.
Oak, so I'll say that.
Favourite type of cuisine?
Probably Japanese.
All right, yes. Favourite style of music?
I like all types, actually. Rock is mainly, of course.
Oh, yeah. If you have to choose between travelling by plane or by boat, which would it be?
Boat.
All right. Similar question now. If you're in the countryside, hiking or cycling?
I used to cycle a lot when I was a kid.
All right, so it might be...
either of those are fine. Either of those.
All right. Favourite film?
Magnificent Seven.
All right, great. Favourite instrument?
Yeah, it's got to be drum.
All right, great. Well, that's great. Thanks. You've answered the 10 favourite things there.
I hope it's in time.
Oh, yes. Well, no, it should be. I'll tell you what we do. Favourite instrument other than the drums? What would it be?
Oh, other than what I play?
Yeah.
I really like tenor sax, actually.
Oh, right. Oh, that's great.
No, you know what? Soprano sax.
Oh, okay.
Soprano sax. People say, can have a drumstick. I say, they don't grow on trees, you know.
They are trees. Right, well, thanks so much for speaking to us. That was a longer interview than we were expecting, but...
Me too. But...
Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Chris.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi, this is Chris Slade from AC/DC on Camden Town Radio. Keep rocking.